Hey everyone, let's go ahead and do a practice problem so that way we can actually create the scatter plot. All right, let's first off read our scenario. So Tim recorded the amount of time he spent reading and the amount of time he spent playing video games each day after school for 10 days. And right here in this purplish pink, we have a table with all of our data. So in our first row, we have all of the time he spent reading after school in minutes. And then in the second, all of the time he spent playing video games in minutes. And right here, our directions are asking us to make a scatter plot to represent and show this data. On the right, I was super nice. I went ahead and gave you a pre-filled out graph. So we have our title, after school time, and we've also labeled both our axes. So we have our x-axis, reading time in minutes, and our y-axis, video game time in minutes. To create and graph the scatter plot, what we're going to do is we're going to recognize that this table of information is actually a set of ordered pairs. So all we need to do is graph each data set, graph each ordered pair. In my opinion, the trickiest part to this is making sure that you don't mix up which one needs to be your X value and which one needs to be your Y. There's two different ways that you can always get this correct. The first way is in a case like this. If you already have the graph given to you, read your labels and see which one matches with your x-axis and which one matches with your y. So we can see in our case, we have our x-axis down here, and that is labeled with our reading time. So that means all of our reading time values are our x values. Then our y-axis is labeled with video game time. So that means all of the numbers in the video game time row are our y values. Now, let's talk about the second way, because what if I wasn't so nice and I just gave you a blank graph and you had to label all of it yourself? Well, when that happens, you actually all you got to do is just look at the table, because when you're given a table of values, whether it's given horizontally like we have here, or whether it's given vertically, they will always put the information as it would represent as an ordered pair. So in an ordered pair, your X value always comes before your Y value. So when they give you a table of values, they will always put the X first. So that'll either be the top row, or if it's a vertical table, your first column. And then your Y, because Y comes second, will either be your second row or your second column. So we're kind of nice like that. We make it match up so that way it's logical. All right, well, let's get our ordered pair started and make this scatter plot. We'll go ahead and do our first data point in blue. But if you want for a visual, let's go ahead and write that out officially as an ordered pair. So our reading time is our our X value, and our video game time, which is 50, is our Y value. So there you go. We can see how it can also be written as an ordered pair. So if we graph that, when we're an ordered pair, you got to do both movements before you put your point. So we'll go over 5 on our X, and then we'll go up to 50 on our Y, and that is our first data point. All right, let's now do our second one. So 10, 50. We'll go ahead and write this one more time as an ordered pair, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So the 10, which is our reading, is our X. And then the 50, which is our video game time, is our Y. So we plot that. We'll go over to 10 on our x-axis and go up to 50 on our y-axis and plot our point. All right, let's do our next one, 1540. 15 is our X, 40 is our Y. Our next data set is 2040. So 20 minutes of reading, 40 minutes of video game time. And sorry, not all my points are super symmetrical today, are they? All right, 15 minutes of reading, 45 minutes of video game time. 15 is our X, 45 is our Y. Oops, I already did that blue. Better choose a different one. Let's do this blue. 20 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of video game time. Let's move that. That's kind of bad. Okay. All right, I haven't used pink yet. 15 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of video game time. So hopefully you guys will see that even though it may take a minute here to get it all filled out, creating scatter plots is really just graphing ordered pairs. And it's super colorful and kind of fun. All right, almost done. 30 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of video game time, and last but not least, 45 minutes of reading and 5 minutes of video game time. All right, there we've created a scatter plot. And for today, this is actually where you can stop because this is where our OMHS 1.03 lesson stops, is just simply creating and understanding what a scatter plot is. But when you continue on OMHS this week, so when you do the lessons on your own Thursday and then you do the Nearpod, don't forget about the Nearpod, on Friday, you will be able to learn more about the causation and trend lines and the association. So you get a little bit more into interpreting and reading our scatter plots. All right, let's move back to our Nearpod and go ahead and try an example on your own.